Hello and welcome to the ADHD with Jenna podcast. Today we are talking about overstimulation versus dysregulation. Overstimulation is something we can experience as ADHDers, and we're going to be diving into what is that, how is it different from dysregulation, and how are we dealing with overstimulation versus dysregulation. I know we have a lot going on, so sometimes it can be overwhelming. Before we dive in, I want to remind you to grab your free ADHD regulation guide. If you have not gotten that yet, that's where to start. It's a beautiful place to start. There's a PDF with everything written out of this theory of ADHD regulation method and your first action steps, what to actually do this week, like right away. How do I get started? How do I take action? Because this work only occurs in action. It cannot occur in learning only. Of course, you need to learn to know what to do, but until that stuff is being practiced, it's still just more information in your huge bucket of all the things you already know. So grab that free guide and get that in the show notes, and let's dive in. All right, so what is overstimulation? Overstimulation, or you can also say sensory overload, is a state where the brain receives too much sensory information. So sight, hearing, touch. I don't think we get too much taste overstimulation. And sight, a good old working memory. Oh, and smell. I feel like for overstimulation, hearing and sight is going to be the biggest, and touch as well. Those are the three that I see the most with ADHDers being bothersome in the framework of overstimulation. But this is where we're receiving too much of this sensory information to process it effectively. So it leads to physical and emotional discomfort. It can lead to difficulty focusing and stress. Triggers can include excessive bright lights, loud noises, crowds, strong smells. I guess that's in there, but I don't hear about that as often. But I think like being, especially if you have kids, the whole touch thing, I know for me, that's can be difficult sometimes. And they also list overwhelming internal thoughts or responsibilities and part of overstimulation, but I kind of see that part as dysregulation. So I'm not going to go as far into that. I'm going to keep it as sensory overload. So the input from your senses being too much. So it can result in symptoms such as headaches, anxiety, irritability, strong urge to escape the environment, an inability to stay where you are. And that's a huge challenge for ADHDers, absolutely. Now, what is dysregulation? This is the difference here is what I really want to get into so you know what you're dealing with and how to make it better, because they're two different things. So a dysregulated nervous system, which is what we talk about here at ADHD with Jenna, if you have not listened to other episodes of mine, you might want to even go back just to episode 1 and just listen to that to have some context. But a dysregulated nervous system is one that's imbalanced, often with the sympathetic system stuck in overdrive. So there are two branches of the nervous system. So we have the sympathetic, that's the fight or flight. And then we have the parasympathetic. So that's the rest and digest. So that would be when you are regulated. You're in this place where you feel safe, everything's calm, you're able to rest, your digestive system is working well, the blood flow is going to the brain and the digestive system and being used for these functions instead of the blood flow going to your limbs and away from your core to be able to run away from danger. So those are the two different states. So a dysregulated system can't effectively switch between those two states. So we need that fight or flight response, right? It's there for a reason. It's very helpful when you are in imminent life-threatening danger, when you're in situations where fight, flight, freeze, or fawn are the solutions to your problem. Hopefully, knock on wood, that's very, 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 very rare that in this modern day, you are in that situation. Maybe you have been, right? And that can be very traumatizing and very scary. But in the day to day, when you're safe, we want to switch to that rest and digest mode that, like, oh, I'm safe. My inside's matching my outside. The external world is safe right now, and my internal world understands that, and everything is good. We need a place for both. And so when you can't match your internal world to your external world, that's when we have a problem. So when that fight or flight system is constantly activated, it's like the body's always on high alert, even when there's no actual threat. And this is when we have a problem. When you're writing emails, when you have a long to-do list, when you're stressed because your kids are having a tantrum, when you are not in imminent life-threatening danger, and fight, flight, freeze, and fawn are not going to be good solutions to that situation. But if our system is stuck there, that's where we're going to go. So we're going to be irritable, impatient, frustrated, in a rush. We are going to avoid things that are actually really important, like tasks we want to get done, paying bills that are dysregulating to us that feel difficult. We might freeze, you might experience paralysis, or you might start forgetting all about your own needs, getting into that fawn, helping everybody else to try to feel safe. That's giving us really horrible results, but when we're stuck there, this is what happens. So coming back to the comparing these two, overstimulation, like being in a place that's too loud and bright, stimulating your five senses can increase dysregulation. These are also intertwined. So the similarities here, or the overlap, is that overstimulation can create some dysregulation, right? Our system starts to go into panic when it's feeling too much. But also, if you are very dysregulated, you can be more sensitive to stimulation. So you're very easily overstimulated. Where at times you might be like, oh, sometimes, the mall is fine and sometimes it's absolutely overwhelming. Well, how's your regulation, right? So these can really affect each other, but they are separate. When we're feeling overstimulated, it's typically because we are currently in that environment that is too intense. When we leave that space, it can take a bit to calm the system again, but it will. So it's a little bit more of an immediate thing to deal with. Like, wow, the lights are too bright, the sounds are too loud right now, and that's bothering me. Versus dysregulation, on the other hand, has less to do with our immediate surroundings or current reality. So you can be lying down watching a movie with your kids, your brain won't stop, it's hypervigilant, you're feeling worried, you're forgetting a bunch of stuff, you're unable to lay there, and you have to go around the house busying yourself, and it's so uncomfortable. So this is why dysregulation work is about recalibrating the nervous system, your conscious mind, and your subconscious to all be aligned with the external world. Because I'm making some assumptions here, but you are safe. I mean, if you're listening to a podcast, you're probably not in imminent life-threatening danger, right? You're okay. It's safe for our system to be in that rest and digest mode most of the time, if not all the time, in modern society. And then when our system is matching our external situation, we have higher executive functioning, more enjoyment. We really get great effects from that. We get great results from our system being connected to the external reality. So regulation work is bigger picture because there's deeper roots to it. It's the fact that we're stuck chronically in a state no matter what's happening externally. That makes it hard because it's not like, oh, just, some people are like, oh, if I quit my job, will that help? Like, sure, to a degree, but it's the fact that your internal world is not matching your external world, that's the problem. You can change the external world all you want, by taking a leave from work, by whatever it is that you feel would make your life easier. That probably will help a little bit, but your internal world still's not matching your external world because the whole time you were safe, whether you're working or not. Obviously, if you have a very high stress job and it's very dysregulating, that's harder to regulate through than if you have a job that's very calm and relaxed and there's a lot of permission to work at your own pace and stuff like that. But we cannot work effectively at regulating by controlling the exterior or tools and tricks and these physical things like calendars, timers. This is why I always say, like, those are band-aids because the whole issue of dysregulation is the internal experience is not matching the external experience. Oh, for stimulation, on the other hand, is a little bit more immediate, right? I am overstimulated because of my physical environment. So, presumably, changing your physical environment is going to really affect overstimulation and help you a lot. As mentioned, dysregulation will increase your ability to be present with stimulation and not be as triggered by it. But that just comes with doing the regulation work long term. So let's talk about the short term, handy awareness of overstimulation and what tools we can use to help that immediate discomfort and that immediate environmental kind of shift that we can make. So how do we deal with overstimulation? So first is to accept that you are overstimulated. That is a bit more internal, but a lot of people think like, oh, I should be fine. This isn't that bad. It's not that loud. Everyone else can handle it. I shouldn't need to take a break. I shouldn't need to leave. I shouldn't need to wear earplugs. No one else is. And then you power through. So that's first and foremost, you got to accept that you are overstimulated and accept that you might need some support in making this better because you don't need to live that way. Where it's like, well, just got to suck it up. That's the first step. This is more of an internal experience, but I've seen that reflected even in dysregulation, where I had a client who, some admin stuff at work was really hard for them. And she just kept saying, like, this shouldn't be so hard. This shouldn't be so hard. It's like, okay, well, accepting that this is hard for you, even if it's not hard for your coworkers, is the first step, right? Because sometimes we can deny it. Of like, oh, I should just suck it up. I should just figure it out. Well, no, if you're overstimulated, you're overstimulated. Let's accept that and move from there. So that's step one. Second thing you can do is build awareness of where and what overstimulates you. Of course, we can do things to react in the moment when we notice we're overstimulated, but there's probably some pretty common patterns that come up for you when it comes to overstimulation. I know for me, it's auditory, it's noise. Lights, and the visual overstimulation to me is not nearly as common as things being too loud. I can't handle it. My husband will have the TV on. I'm like, turn it down, or we'll have music on. Whoever's got the music on, turn it down. It's probably too loud. Unless I'm in the car by myself and I've chosen the music and I'm like singing to it really loud, which that's something you might notice as well when you have control over the noise. It's less overstimulating when someone else is controlling it and determining what's happening. It might be more overstimulating. But it's figuring out your patterns. What's your typical thing that overstimulates you? Because then you can get a little bit ahead of it. And why is it overstimulating you? Why is this place so difficult for you? We need to start reflecting with curiosity of like, the mall sometimes is so draining for me. What is that about? And so then even when you're in there and you're finding it draining in the moment, when we're dysregulated or when we're overstimulated, kind of that animalistic need to like flee or just leave comes over us. And then we're not able to contemplate or look at it with curiosity and go, what about this place is overstimulating? Is it the noise? Is it the lights? Is it the amount of people? Is it keep getting bumped and touched? Is it, what's happening? Is it the smells in the food court and you want to puke? Like, what's going on? If you take stock, then you might have a couple strategies on hand so you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. That's the biggest thing for me with overstimulation is, yes, it's happening. I'm accepting it. But I also want to, if I want to go to the mall, I want to be able to go to the mall. So what could I do to support myself? And so you have to be aware that you're overstimulated and aware of why you're overstimulated so you can help yourself out. Have some things on hand instead of just reacting in the moment through, maybe right now, the way you've been dealing with overstimulation is leave or don't go at all. That's really limiting for us, right? And if that's your choice and that feels good for you and that feels authentic for you and that's how you cope, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But if you're like, oh, I don't want to have to not go or not ever be able to go shopping or, not be able to go with my friends for dinner because it's too, like, what could we do if you want more freedom and have more independence or more, not independence, but like choice in the matter? So some very basic stuff when you Google like how to help with overstimulation will be like earplugs. Honestly, at home, this was so helpful when my boys were younger. I find I don't really need it as much anymore. But my overstimulation thing being noise with two young boys is like, oh gosh, it's a lot. Because it's not only that it's like, oh, this is unpleasant, it's too loud. It's then I notice my dysregulation increasing, which is my main thing I focus on for myself to live a good life when there's too much overstimulation noise wise. So my irritability goes up, my impatience goes up. So my boys might be talking to me, right? And had the room been quiet or had there not been, say, a loud TV in the background or music in the background or something like that, I would probably have responded in a much more patient and kind manner. But because there's so much coming at me and then someone talks to me, I'm like, oh my God, leave me alone. So we want to observe that so we can get ahead of that. So we're not reactive in that way. Even today, my son got a CD player for his 7th birthday. Highly recommend it. CDs are like $1 at the thrift store. The CD player was like $30. He thinks it's the best thing ever. It's so fun. But he had his CD player on this morning, and I was also dealing with some dysregulation, which, like I said, these things are going to coincide a lot. I was also dealing with dysregulation because I found out the kindergarten my other son was going to go to he's not gonna be able to take the bus. Now we got to switch schools, and now they might not have childcare. So it's, very dysregulating situation I'm in. Plus, my son turned his CD player on, and then he was talking to me. And I was like, buddy, I can't handle this. So the awareness of it, of I understand what's happening right now, helps so much. It's not that I wasn't dysregulated and I wasn't overstimulated just because I was aware of it, but I was able to say, I really need you to turn that off right now. Just give me 5 minutes to, send these emails dealing with the kindergarten thing. Then we'll talk. Right. So I'm able to advocate for myself a little bit more and bring everything down instead of it exploding. Which, right, if we're not so on top of, well, why am I feeling this way right now? Then we can get kind of more into that explosive stuff where we regret it after. A little bit more reactionary instead of responsive. So earplugs, big fan. If you can reduce the noise, great. Sunglasses, you might think, oh, people think I'm weird if I'm wearing sunglasses inside. Okay, sorry. Let them think that. Most people are going to be strangers. You're never going to see them again. And now you can go to the mall, right? It's worth it. The experience of your life improving is worth the assessment of your life going down, if you will. Like how people look at you is less important than how you're experiencing things. When we're dysregulated, that can be quite skewed and we can really care what people think and feels unsafe to be seen as different or weird or, being misunderstood. But as you get more regulated as well, you're going to find it's like, let them misunderstand me, like whatever. They think I think I'm cool because I have sunglasses on. Well, I know. I just cannot handle these damn lights or whatever it is. Take breaks. Removing yourself is sometimes the only thing you can do. I understand you can't always have earplugs or sunglasses in certain areas. But if you need to go outside a little bit at a get together, know that about yourself ahead of time and see if you can see it as a tool, just like regulation work, just like medication, just like timers and calendars. This is a tool to support myself in my, the thing that I struggle with. The bathroom is also a great out, especially, at the mall even, maybe it's more like, "Ugh, take a break in here," or at someone's house or at get-togethers. Allowing yourself take that 5 minutes. Take a deep breath, slow everything down, and then return. That can be a really great way to kind of recalibrate so you're not kind of going over that level where it's unmanageable and you have to leave or you're irritable or whatever comes up for you. And then you also want to advocate for yourself. That's a big one. Say if your family wants to go somewhere you know is going to be a challenge, can we give some options that might be more suitable? This is kind of like I just mentioned. We need to think of this as a tool, as a coping mechanism, as a way to make things better for me. This is no different than my family going to quieter places with my parents because my dad's hard of hearing. Like, that's just like, duh. We're not going to go to super loud place because then my dad can't participate at all and is going to have a very miserable time. I know ADHD can be a bit more of a challenge because we may feel that things that help us aren't so cut and dry and not so obvious, and maybe people aren't going to understand. And I'm not saying people will understand. Some people are going to misunderstand, some people are going to not get it. But what's really important is you have confidence that this is a tool for you. You know, hey, this is what I need to do well. When I'm overstimulated, which makes me dysregulated, then I'm not functioning, right? So it starts with your confidence in being able to advocate for yourself. Does not mean you're always going to be understood, does not mean everyone's going to, bend and support those accommodations and your advocation for yourself. But your best bet is you becoming confident in that, right? And that's really hard. When we're dysregulated, we tend to need other people to understand or other people to make it easy for us. But that's because we haven't created that confidence in ourselves yet, right? So it's like, ooh, my self-advocacy is a little rocky, a little shaky. So I need you to also help advocate for me, or at least understand and agree for me to feel okay. So we cannot control other people, unfortunately. So they're going to think what they think. They're going to do what they do. Certain people might not support you in certain accommodations and these kind of things we're talking about. But my gosh, when you know what works for you, it's a whole new world because you are going to be more confident to ask in the first place. That's what I've been really working on, is slightly unrelated to overstimulation, but like, okay, what do I want? Have I been crystal clear with that? Or am I, needing people to say it for me or assuming they're going to know that I want that? Or am I being very clear and advocating for myself? And if they say no, they say no, but I know I've done everything I could to, advocate for myself in any situation. That's going to be huge for this overstimulation issue and dealing with it because it's going to come up in a lot of situations. So we're going to, even the little things of wearing earplugs and people don't understand it, or taking breaks when they're like, why does she have to go outside? You kind of have to have that strong foundation that does not need anyone else's approval. That takes time to build. And that takes regulation work to get that confidence feeling and for you to feel safe enough to advocate for these things where you may be quote unquote rejected. You may be given a no. You may be, say, oh, could we actually go to this place? It's just a little quieter. So, I find it much more enjoyable, whatever it is, because you don't necessarily have to advocate for yourself in a way of like, my diagnosis says I need a quiet place. It doesn't have to be that technical, but they might say, no, we really want to go here. And so when we're dysregulated, that can feel that RSD can come up where we're very sensitive to rejection, perceived or otherwise. So it feels really hard to advocate. So just know that that can come with regulation work as well. It gets easier and easier and easier. Doesn't mean you can't do it even when it's hard, but it will get easier as well. So overstimulation and dysregulation. Understanding that you're probably experiencing both is really important, but also knowing that you can cope with the immediate struggle of overstimulation quite quickly, right? You can have your tools on hand. And if you have that awareness, you can change that in the moment. And of course, I always recommend regulation work. This is longer term work that you build up over time, but it's more of a transformation. Even what I've talked about with overstimulation here, it's going to help for that instance. So, like putting earplugs is going to help you have a more pleasurable day with your kids at home, but it's not going to like make the day less overstimulating. It's a little bit more immediate, but short lived. Whereas regulation work is not going to provide that relief as instantly, but you are retraining your system to match the outside situation so that it's easier and easier and easier over time. So it's kind of great, right? You have something you can work on in the immediate moment and you have something to work on long term. So everything gets easier in the long run, including overstimulation. Because the more regulated you are, the less easily triggered you will be by this stimulus that you're experiencing. So if you haven't started that regulation journey yet, get on it. So I've had such great feedback about the podcast lately. I'm so excited about that. So thank you everybody for being here, for downloading, for listening. But if you are just learning, nothing's going to happen. So you might be like, I understand this. I get this. I'm connecting with this idea. But what do I do? That is where you need to grab your free ADHD regulation guide and start taking those actions. When you get it, you might think, oh, this isn't enough. This is, but this is step one. We have to start at the beginning. So start there and we'll build from there together. And remember, if you're overstimulated and dysregulated, you deserve to have a life that's easier and more enjoyable. Start thinking of how can I make this better for myself instead of, well, this shouldn't be so hard for me, and just powering through, because you really do. You deserve enjoyment and ease. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.